One of the hardest things for me has been being able to forgive myself for some of my mistakes. It used to be very hard for me to like forgive myself for like cringe moments or just like moments where I've done stupid things or things I know I shouldn't have done. I used to always like have all these shame and guilt, and I would just always think I deserve the things I go through. I was just in this pity for myself even. And sometimes you just gotta, not even sometimes, you gotta forgive yourself because that's how you love yourself. You have to love yourself unconditionally. Because if you never love yourself unconditionally, it will just affect other areas of your life. People will push over you. You'll always get treated less than what you feel you deserve or really want. And it will just be hard. Forgiving yourself is not, I can do whatever I want type stuff. At the end of the day, you should have a conscience and you should know when you're doing something like really wrong. But sometimes even then, it's like we can't be too hard on ourselves because we all we got. I'm all I got. You all you got. So why be so hard on yourself? The only thing you can do is learn and grow from things. And for you to ever heal, for you to ever truly, truly love yourself for who you are, the first thing you got to do is forgive yourself for the past. Even if you allowed yourself to be in toxic situations, you allowed someone to mistreat you, you allowed all those things that you know you don't deserve or doesn't align with your current values, you got to let that go because we're constantly changing. People always try to label a person for what they did, but I feel like change is going to speak for itself. From childhood, that's where it usually comes from. You have parents that emotionally abuse you, physically abuse you, or verbally abuse you. You start to feel like you're responsible. It's your fault. And like in my situation, I always felt like some of those things were my fault. Growing up now, as an adult, I'm just like, sometimes other people's actions have nothing to do with you. It doesn't mean something's wrong with you just because people say bad things about you or make you feel alone or low and they say all these things and they don't care about you. Doesn't mean that should reflect how you feel about yourself, because I've just learned that people project and you just got to forgive yourself for even mistakes you have made and just don't do them no more. You know what I'm saying? That's the first step to healing, is just forgiving yourself and loving yourself no matter what. So what, bestie? You made a mistake. You did something. You went against your moral. You just went through something and you just feel like you were the blame of that. You were the reason. At the end of the day, you have to forgive yourself. Love yourself unconditionally. That's what I've learned. Because if you allow other people to dictate how you should feel about yourself, you're going to always be sad. You're going to always hate yourself. So it's just like, whatever people do to you, don't take it like to where it's you. Sometimes it's them in your life or something about you triggers seriously. So don't take things too personal with people. Heal from what happened. When I say heal, it's not like a band-aid. It's not like, because those wounds are always going to come up one way or the other. You're never going to be like fully healed. It's just not how it is when it comes to something like very traumatic that you done or that has happened to you. But I think forgiveness, not just for you, and it's not for the other person either. It's for the wound itself, because that's a lot of weight to carry on your shoulders, and you can't carry all that baggage with you when you're trying to level up or become a newer you, a better version of yourself. You got to let it go, bestie. Let go what anybody has ever done to you. Let go of what you've done to yourself and just learn from it, and never surround yourself with those people ever again. Never partake in those actions you did before. That's all. Forgive yourself. That's the first step to healing. And I hope you do it. You did something stupid. You did something cringe. You did something bad. Just because you did that yesterday don't mean that's who you are today. We can change any day we want. And what anybody else has done to you, don't forgive just for them. I'm not saying that. Forgive for you. Because, you don't need to hold on to spite for so long. Spite can get you so far. When I started some things, it was a lot of spite. Because it was like, I want to prove all these people wrong. And yeah, that's a good mindset to have. But you should forgive deep down. Don't mean you got to be around that person no more. Don't mean you gotta fuck with them no more. Don't mean you gotta do none of that. But what I'm trying to say is look at things from a different perspective. Sometimes people got issues and they just haven't healed from and they project it. And especially like with childhood, if you had a hard childhood, like for me, that childhood stuff really shapes the way you are as an adult. Unless you actually heal it and become self-aware, your childhood is the programming of your whole life. What you experience as a child kind of makes who you are as an adult. That's when everything is fresh and new in your brain and you're getting it programmed. And if you're getting it programmed with negative things at a young age, it can ruin your adulthood life. And I had to let it go in order to be where I am right now. I had to let go of being called overweight every day by the entire family, called a fat ass, called all these things. I had to let go of all that. I had to let go of my mom dying. Like, yes, think about my mom and think about as a kid and stuff. But at the end of the day, you got to move on with life. You got to forgive and just let it go. Just stop dwelling on to it. That should be what it is. I love you. Let it go. Forgive yourself. It's all good. You made a mistake. Tomorrow's another day. Do better. That's all you can do. Love yourself unconditionally. That is the hardest thing to do sometimes. But it's worth it. And you're all you got. And I'm all I got. We got each other. But at the end of the day, you got to leave this world alone. So I'm just here to try to help you make the most of it.